Let's talk Blue Ocean Strategy. Now, a fantastic book. It's worth giving it a read. But in this book, it talks about the Blue Ocean Strategy and the Red Ocean Strategy. And basically, what it is the Red Ocean Strategy. It's where everyone else is competing. It's where everyone is fighting over the same market, with the same marketing. That's your Red Ocean, okay? And that's what a lot of businesses do. That's what a lot of healthcare clinics do. But what the book encourages you to think about is how can you move from the red ocean to the blue ocean? The blue ocean is where there's less competition. Like you're actively out there competing essentially against no one because you've differentiated your offering, what you do, the results you get, whatever that may be, okay? In healthcare, in anything. Now, before I do dive further into this one, please like and subscribe. It helps us to help more people and to have a greater impact. Thank you very much for that. Let's get back into the meat of things here, the blue ocean strategy. So just think for a minute, if you are let's call it a physiotherapy clinic, something that you may look at is, well, how can we actually really be differentiated from our competition? Now, if we look at how we can differentiate ourselves as a clinic, right? So for people who are coming into the clinic, our clients, our patients, whoever that may be, what could actually give us a real differentiation? Because whilst having an amazing client experience could be a differentiation, at the end of the day, the product could still be very similar. And so, what I've seen, and this is a large differentiation factor. Now, not to say this will work or won't work, or this is better than anything else, but certain clinics have started memberships. So, essentially, you can pay a membership to then be able to come in and have physiotherapy treatment. Or they may package things up and it's something like unlimited physiotherapy for 12 weeks to get over an injury or an issue. Okay, but what it's doing, what these things are doing, is they're drastically changing up the delivery model. Now, how we actually do the sessions, very similar still, but it's the perceived delivery model that is changing hugely. And so, right here, that's a blue ocean strategy. Now, can I say that this is definitely going to beat the other way of doing things or the typical way that we do things in healthcare? No, not necessarily. I'd be interested to follow along the journey of some of these clinics. But what they're doing is they're thinking outside the box and going, how can we do things differently? Now, that's an example for how we can do things differently for our clientele and market ourselves differently to clients or to potential clients. The other way to think about this is how can we position ourselves differently or market ourselves differently to potential team members? Now, a lot of people will compete on salary. That's a key differentiator in today's market. However, if everyone's competing on that, the only way to beat them is to offer more money and less hours. And at some point, that becomes untenable. So, how else can we differentiate ourselves so people really want to come and work with us? Now, at some clinics, they differentiate themselves by saying you can't work here unless you have a minimum experience of X amount of years, which goes against the conventional norm at the moment where everyone's trying to get everyone and anyone to come work with them, right? Another way that I've seen clinics do it is they specifically target certain clientele or they specifically target, from a physio example, sports teams. And essentially they get a certain type of clientele coming in that a lot of young physiotherapists want to come and work with, or the opportunity to work with those sports teams. And now, when they're marketing their role, they're not just marketing a job with a salary, they're actually saying, these are the clients that you're going to be working with. These are the opportunities that we're going to be able to provide you if you choose to work with us. And this is the remuneration you can get. And what you might find is people will look at this role and another role may be paying 10% more. However, they may value some of these other things higher. And so they may choose the lower paying role. And so now, when you look at this, they're not necessarily just in a competition for who can pay the most. They're now going who can deliver the most well-rounded package. So keep that in mind. Think about for your clients, how could you differentiate yourself from your competition? Not so that you're a little bit different or you've got a slightly better coffee machine or your candles are from Glass House and theirs are from BW, whatever it may be. Think about no, how can we be actually different? What is a real differentiating factor here? And how would this make a meaningful difference in someone's life? And why would they choose to come here over someone else because of this difference? And then think about it for your team members, potential team members. Why would someone want to come work with us? How can we really differentiate ourselves from the competition? And ask yourself this question for team members. If I could only offer 10% less pay than all of my competition in the local area, what would I do to get team members? And ask yourself this for clients. If I had to charge 10% more than every clinic around me, how would I make it a no-brainer for people to come and see us and not someone who's cheaper? All right, my friends, I hope this gets the brain juices going, and I'll see you in the next video.